Another part of the series I am doing covering the sexual ethics policy or lack of ethics for the sexual ethics policy for the Texas Annual Conference Administration of the United Methodist denomination. And I left off on page 9. What was it? No. Let me see. It was okay. Today I will be covering page 11. And page 11 begins with begins with reporting abuse and sexual harassment, of which, I already know what they do with that. Really, the Texas Annual Conference Administration could care less. They don't care about the victims of sexual assault by their clergy or anybody else in the United Methodist Church, and they don't care about victims of sexual harassment. They could care less. I guarantee you they don't lose sleep over it. How would I know? Well, because I'm one of them. An email could also be used to report. Of course, I know how well that works. Doesn't work out great. Because, like I said, they don't care. An in-person meeting. Oh, yes. You mean like meeting with the bishop for an hour in her office, which is actually very rare because I really have never met any other preachers' kids who just couldn't wait to go sit in the office of the bishop to discuss how their parents abused them. I haven't seen too many preachers' kids eager to do that, because that would be the equivalent of your parent working for a major corporation and you going and meeting with the CEO because your parents sexually abused you. The difference is, anyone in the Texas Annual Conference, anybody that works in an evangelical community in a leadership role, they are mandated reporters. And I can tell you that meeting with Bishop Huey at the time, I thought it was validation. It wasn't. The meeting with Bishop Huey was for an hour in her office. They offered me nothing. It was about damage control. That's what it was about. By filing a confidential notice of concern located at the end of this document. Oh, yes. And let's talk about confidentiality and the fact that Harrison Fisher leaked the document revealing the identity of Jane Doe, which was Alicia Provost Whitfield, who received a settlement from the Texas Annual Conference out of court for being sexually assaulted by her abuser, Kendall Graham. Screening and selection. All persons who have pastoral relationships shall be pre-screened and selected as follows. All applicants must complete an application form that includes an authorization for the release of information to conduct background screening and reference checks. A sexual offender registry check must be completed for all applicants in any state in which an applicant has resided for the past 7 years. A criminal records check must be performed for persons who will be working with vulnerable adults in their homes. At a minimum, the criminal records check must cover any state where the applicant has resided for the past 7 years. References provided by an applicant, including at least one person outside the congregation, must be checked. An individual interview with the applicant must be conducted. Repeat background checks, criminal record checks, and sexual offender registry checks must be repeated every 5 years for persons who have pastoral relationships. This is J. That the previous one was I. This is J. Education and training requirements. Persons who have pastoral relationships as defined in this policy are required to complete the conference training on sexual ethics. The required education and training must be completed within 3 months of the start of the pastoral relationship. Training must be repeated every 4 years. K, transfers with the conference. An individual with pastoral relationship seeking transfer must complete a new application, be interviewed, and update his or her references to include information about his or her pastoral relationships. L, monitoring and supervising pastoral relationships in addition to the other steps outlined above. Monitoring and supervision and supervising persons who have pastoral relationships should include the following. 1, maintaining an up-to-date list of persons who have pastoral relationships in the church records. 2, requiring that all activities that involve pastoral relationships be approved by the pastor and the chair of the, pastor, it's a P/SPRC. I can't remember what that's an abbreviation for. It's a committee. Before the activity is to begin, request to develop new activities or programs should be submitted in writing. Unless, somebody reports sexual misconduct that is directed towards a minor, and yet nothing is done, or unless a parent who is employed under the Texas Annual Conference sexually abuses their child, they don't care. Or even better, if he tries to adopt 3 girls and sends them back to foster care because they're beginning to talk and he doesn't want his dirty little secret out that he's sexually abusing them, and sends them back to foster care while he's employed under the Texas Annual Conference administration. Yeah, they don't care about that either. I don't really have much to say today because I am tired. This is a series I am committed to, and I am going to follow through with it. The only thing that I would have to say is that if the Texas Annual Conference wants to retaliate, again, they're more than welcome to, because I could always use more ideas for social media content. I'm sure the public would love to see a multi-billion-dollar administration retaliate against a sexual assault victim of one of their clergy that was formerly employed under their administration.